Woo, I can't deny it. I am pretty excited to play Demon's Souls. This is almost the sole reason I got a PS5. This and Bloodborne, but that's, you know, PS4. Alright, here we go. Let's start a new game, create a new character.
What the hell have we become?
Body type A, body type B. What do we get? Gender controversy. So I booted up Demon's Souls, pretty much the only reason I got the PS5. And what did I see but a body type controversy? Yep, that's right. This new body type A, body type B nonsense. Nothing more than a renaming of male and female. But not even male and female. Female and male. They gotta make sure they put the female first, in stark contradiction to the usual convention of listing male first, and in stark contradiction to the type of gamer that would play Demon's Souls. Because I imagine, of all the people playing Demon's Souls, well over 90% are male. Renaming something while changing nothing about it is the quintessential euphemism. What's a euphemism? Well, that's basically when you take a word and you switch it out with another word that either sounds better or nicer, basically hides the meaning of the original word. So in this case, type A is simply female and type B is male. They're actually trying to hide the fact that their character creation limits you to simply male and female. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I think that's actually a good thing because those are the only two actual biological genders. Seriously, do you ever go to the doctor's office and they hand you a form that you're supposed to fill out and you're checking off stuff, you're writing your name, your date of birth, and it says sex and it's listed type A, type B? Now, believe it or not, this actually confuses some gamers. Now, you may be thinking, wait a minute, Mark, gamers don't get confused by this. They can clearly see that there's a male and a female. They know that type A and type B bodies are simply male and female, or in this case, female and male. Well, you'd be surprised. Check out some of these websites I found. There are posts where people are confused about which is which and what's the difference. Yes, gamers get confused by this nonsense, so why do they do it? Well, that's actually pretty easy. I can tell you why they do it. ESG. What's ESG, you ask? Well, if you're like many people, you have no idea what ESG is. It stands for environmental, social, and governance. So what's this social mean? Well, this is a broad, sweeping euphemism for a lot of different things. It's a euphemism for things like diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity is a euphemism for anti-white and sometimes anti-Asian. Equity is a euphemism for stealing from those who earned it and deserve it, and giving to those who didn't earn it and generally don't deserve it. Inclusion is a euphemism for the exact opposite, exclusion, and it typically excludes white, it excludes male, and it excludes heteronormal. You know what I'm referring to. So in this case, the worst combination, the most excluded combination would be the straight white male. But don't worry guys, because Demon's Souls Remake on the PS5 is actually a Bluepoint game. Other than the fact that Bluepoint based the game on the original Demon's Souls, From Software had nothing to do with it. There was no consultation. From Software simply gave their blessing, and Bluepoint did the rest by themselves. But why would Bluepoint do this? We'll get there. Trust me, we will get there. But for now, let's put the Demon's Souls Remake aside, and let's go back to From Software with their most recent title. No, not Armored Core 6. I sometimes forget that even exists, guys. I mean Elden Ring, because Elden Ring is actually a From Software game. It's not Bluepoint, and certainly From Software wouldn't put that garbage in their game. After all, they're a Japanese company. What interest would they have in all this new silliness that we often refer to as woke? Though honestly, I don't like that term. I don't really use that term very often because woke implies something good. You want to be awake, don't you? Not asleep, oblivious. But in this case, the term woke refers to something entirely different. Not being aware, being misled. But that's a tangent. Let's go to Elden Ring. From Software. Surely From Software has not bent. Surely they haven't bended the knee to ESG, have they? I'm sure they haven't. Here we are in Elden Ring. This is not Demon's Souls Remake. This is actually From Software. From Software. That's right. From Software. Published by Bandai Namco. So hopefully none of that nonsense in this game. Let's start a new game. There's something about starting a new game in any of the Souls series and Souls spin-offs. It's just so exciting. You can start the hero, the warrior, the vagabond, or the wretch. See that dude? That dude right there, man, he has almost the exact same swimsuit that I wear when I go to the beach. It looks just like that, except it doesn't cover as much. All right, let's, you know what? Let's do a samurai. I've never done the samurai before, so boom, here we go. Please choose a body type. Oh, no, they did it. They did it in this game. That's disappointing. But you know what? I actually already knew that. I'm pretending to be surprised that there's a type A and type B. Now, granted, with some of these characters, like this one, it's pretty easy to tell A is male, B is female. This one, you can kind of tell. That one, you can tell. But some of these, it's not so easy to tell, like this one right here, the Vagabond. I mean, granted, you know if you know what you're looking for, but believe it or not, some people are confused by this. People get confused, especially here. Look, it's not super obvious on the samurai. I can tell because I'm just that smart. I'm super intelligent. I have this super high IQ. My IQ is in the upper 80s, guys. Super high. So I know what I'm talking about here. But again, we got this body type nonsense. Very disappointing. Well, From Software done bended the knee, alright. Why? Why would they do this? Does a game simply having elements of this ESG nonsense in it mean that we can't buy it or have to boycott it? Yes. Actually, it does. You cannot buy the game, you cannot play the game, you're not even allowed to pirate the game, you can't even talk about the game. And obviously I'm kidding, I'm sitting here talking about it now and I bought both of these games. While I don't oppose gamers who would choose to forego purchasing games with this sort of radical far-left propaganda in them, it's not the end of the world if they do. We can enjoy content while still noticing the propaganda in the agenda behind it. If it gets to be too much, then sure, don't buy it, don't watch it, don't read it, don't comment on it, don't do anything with it. Regardless, we should continue to voice our concerns about it. That this kind of political and social ideology being injected into games is only serving to hurt games and the gaming experience. And perhaps more importantly to a lot of companies, it's also hurting the bottom line. After all, take a look at Forspoken and its sales. I mean, that game just flopped. And while people may argue that it would have flopped regardless, there's no doubt that it flopped harder because of the ESG nonsense in it. Just look at the main character. She's annoying, she's abrasive, she's not funny, and she just comes off as a character that you don't want to play as.
Did you not just see me take out that gnarly beast?
Companies won't necessarily care too much about our complaints as long as we continue to buy the product, but if we send them an email or comment on Twitter telling them, hey, I wanted to buy this game, but I didn't because of all this stuff that you put in it, well, they might start to listen. Maybe. Now, there is one company in particular that you should look out for when it comes to this kind of far-left insanity, and their name is Sweet Baby Inc. They're a consultation studio that basically injects nutty, left-wing, anti-white propaganda into video games. They do this not because they have some magical power to do it, they do it at the behest of the developers and or publishers, like as a consultant to inject this radical, left-wing, far-left, insane, nutty, anti-white insanity into their games. But again, why? We'll get to that. Visit their website and check out some of the developers they polluted with their evil ideology. You might be surprised to find just how many big-name publishers and developers are in that list. So, again, why would they do all this? Well, I told you I'd get to it, and I will. Let's get to it.
First, some quick definitions. For me, ESG, which stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance, mainly refers to the investor-led movement to understand how social and environmental issues create risk for a business. It's about helping investors assess a company as an investment.
It's about helping investors assess a company as an investment.
So it comes down to money. Investments. If these companies, whether publishers or developers, want to continue receiving investments, which might include loans, well, they have to put some of this ESG crap in their games, in their content. They have to incorporate some of these evil ESG ideologies into the company as a whole. And so a lot of companies will say, well, we want to continue to exist and we need these investments. So if we don't do this, we won't get these investments and we might not continue to exist. So we should judge them, but maybe not judge them too harshly, because if they have to do this to continue to function, it's kind of understandable why they might do it. Well, now you know, and as G.I. Joe would say,
And knowing is half the battle.
Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, don't just give the video a like. Don't smash the like button as many other people would say. But what I want you to do is, if you have a mouse, I want you to take that mouse in your hand. I want you to lift that finger up as high as possible. Hover the cursor over that like button and just crash it down as hard as you can. And if you're on a phone, take your finger, and just rear it back as far as you can and just BAM! Just crash it right into that screen, right on top of that like button. I mean, don't even be afraid to break your finger harder doing it, because the harder you hit, according to what other YouTubers have told me, the harder you hit that like button by smashing it, crashing into it, whacking it, hitting it, bashing it, whatever you can do. The harder you hit that like button, the better it'll be for all of us, okay? So just hit that like button as hard as you can. Don't be afraid to damage the tip of your finger even while doing it. Smash down on that mouse so hard you break the left mouse click button. All that's perfectly fine. Also hit the subscribe button while you're at it. And as always, my friends, stay fresh, cheese bags. Don't forget to grab your copy of New Tokyo, available on Amazon in Kindle, Kindle Unlimited, and paperback formats.
What body type are you, and how does knowing that make you generally happier